Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 670. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinside, wow, Mike, you sound good,
Ahoy!
and Tony Kokonakis.
Hey yo,
Mike, you sound really good. Sorry, I missed
I've
the movie
been
cast.
You
You
hitting
threw
on
me
Jim?
off. I was like
Jesus.
getting
Yeah.
ready.
No, that
This
that
has been
Mike.
my setup for like the last 2 or 3 weeks
I don't know
now.
what it is, man. That's maybe the tone. I know you got a little like bass going on. I don't know, but it sounds good. Sounds good. So
Okay.
welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers. By the way, we are live on Twitch starting Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. All of our content afterwards is over on YouTube, so subscribe to that channel so you get you get notified when we post or when we make corrections, as we had to last week. Unfortunately, sorry about the audio last week; it was fixed. If you want to go back and if you heard the episodes
Oh,
last
thank
week,
you, Churro. Yeah.
yeah, and thank you, Churro. If you heard the episodes last week, and there was missing audio from Tony, it's there now, so go check them out. So
Blame OBS.
yes, and OBS. This is what happened, and this happened to us before with just Mike and myself on the podcast. OBS updated for me, cut my audio out, so and not fun. But this is the Gamecast, folks. I hope you guys had some fun on the movie cast talking about Halloween. We will talk about some Halloween games to play during this time of year. Not Halloween, but scary games to play during this time of year because I don't think there's any there's some Halloween, but interesting
There's a
ones. I don't
handful.
know. Yeah. Gaming wise, it's going to be interesting to talk about that stuff. What have you been playing though, guys? Corey, what have you been playing?
Oh, it's a little game.
Little
Spider-Man 2. Just a
Uh,
little bit.
yeah.
I think Tony
I
and Mike also.
Are you guys all
playing.
playing Spider-Man 2 except for me? Am I the only one that's not doing this yet?
Okay. Yeah.
It seems
Well,
like it. If you're
PS5.
saying you haven't played it.
The key word here is yet, but go on.
Yeah. No. So yeah, I got it. I got it on Friday when it came out, and obviously I was like, I'm probably not gonna get to play it because I picked it up on my way home. I was like, I'm just gonna have to install it or whatever, and so I stuck it in and like let it do its thing and I forgot about it until I got my kids to go sleep, and then I booted up, and yeah, it's really good. Like it's exactly what you expect though. It's not hasn't really
Like
it hasn't.
that's and
I'm
listen, I
curious.
think I know what you're saying. Like it doesn't stray from the formula, right? But it's okay. It's
No,
okay.
exactly, and
Yeah.
that's it's more of what you want. But I does feel really good to get back into New York City playing Spider-Man, and I like the
Miles,
fact
yeah,
that you can
Miles
kind of
and Peter.
swap between the two
Yeah.
Spider-Man and have their own storylines, but then they come together. And there's a point where I was like, oh, there's a robbery or whatever, or whatever they alert comes up, and I went and it's like, oh hey, Miles is here, and it's like, oh, then Miles like, are you breaking up my fight here? And it's like, no, you're breaking up my fight, and then they
Yeah.
like do the point
They have some
thing. And
quips,
so
yeah.
so it's
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
pretty
They
neat.
play.
It's
They
cool
do
because
the.
you can they're doing they're in the city together and you're doing things even though you're doing your own thing and you have your own storylines to worry about. They also interact and intertwine very a lot, and it is integral to what's happening in
Cool.
the story so far.
Yeah.
Personally, I've gotten to Coney Island. Just saying that, so I don't know where you guys are,
Okay.
but
Okay.
That's where
um,
I'm right before that
I
section.
I just finished the Coney Island
Oh,
like
you guys are on
section.
the same spot.
oh, that's pretty
So
neat.
yeah, I mean that's cool. You're loving the game so far, then Corey, right?
Oh yeah, it's definitely one like that drew me in right away because it starts off right after essentially Miles Morales, and they do give you a little bit of a
Refresher.
last time on
Yeah, right away they're like, "Do you
Spider-Man.
Pretty
want to catch a
limited.
recap
Pretty
of
limited.
whatever?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"Sure, sure.
yep,
I'll fill in the rest."
you need it. It helps, but I like getting back into the Miles. But it's also fun to get back into playing as Peter and all the new things you're doing. The big thing that they want you to do now is the web wings or whatever. You can see them in
Yeah.
the trailers. That's like
Yeah.
a big highlight for the mobility aspect. I will say, like, I'll be doing those and then try to swing, and it'll always swing behind me, and I turn around immediately. I'm like, what the
Really
heck?
interesting.
Like, it constantly
I
happens to me where like I'm just like going through, and then all of a sudden I'm
There's
like, shoot, my boy's behind. Like, what are you doing?
I
I'm
will say
going this way.
I find and I didn't play Miles Morales, but I don't know if it's I just haven't unlocked the mobility like skills or whatever
Mhm.
that I had at the end of Spider-Man 1, but I feel like swinging is harder or like less what I'm saying effective or I don't know, it just feels different to me.
I do agree because I think
Probably
they
a little
want you to
slower.
do the web wings. Like I think they
There's
really are trying to push you towards using them as much as possible.
there's also kind of hidden options. All damage you can turn on. It's off by default. There's
Right?
also
I
a
left that
swing.
off.
Put that on. I want that in
That
these games.
realistic death
I
sequence
want
when
to
you
feel like
watched.
when
For
you're
the I have
building.
seen a lot of those like death by the falling web slinging
I hit
damage.
too many
well, it
buildings.
is it,
Yeah. Yeah.
getting damage falling actually is one of the achievements, but everyone who plays this game apparently wants to platinum it because it's kind of easy. But there's also a sort of meter where there's a swing assist meter, and it starts maxed out. And what it does is, if you are swinging, it sort of like floats you, so you don't like hit stuff or don't hit the ground, or you have more time to swing continually. But if you turn that off, like all the way down to a zero, it's more like Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube, I would say. Like, or if you hit something, you'll stop, and you have to sort of be more mindful of like where the buildings are you're tethering to, even though you don't aim per se to them; they just sort of happen automatically. But I did both. Now I've had some trouble when I get real low and I can't really pick up speed because that's what happens when you have that on. But I prefer it a little bit more. It's a little more engaging than the just go
I just
fast
left everything as
automatic.
default. I haven't really messed with any
I
settings.
know, yeah, it's not the default. It's sort of the opposite of what you would think with most games. You make it a little harder in the settings than the default. But I want it to sort of feel like web swinging is more, of a challenge. So we'll see how it
What'd
goes.
you think
Maybe I'll
of
get
the web
annoyed by
swinging,
something and change
Tony?
it back.
What'd you say, Corey?
Yeah.
Would you feel like the web swinging and
You just thought it was too slow or something at first.
I
which
just
is
feel
true.
it feels worse than one.
So wait a minute, like that was like a big aspect. Now I haven't played the game, but like a big aspect of one was like that like speed of building up all that momentum.
You still have it, but I feel like I don't know what it is. I have to like I have to look to see if it's like in the skill tree or something like that. Like maybe they make you earn it over again. But like I just feel by the end of Spider-Man 1, I love the swing because like I had all the mobility options, I had all the mobility skills, and it was just like, it was fun. I remember saying I never quick traveled in that game or fast traveled in that game because it was just
it was fun to traverse.
It was fun to traverse.
Absolutely, I agree.
But in this one, I just find it a little looser and a little, I don't know, just not as engaging. Like it's still fun, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like it's not as good as one. And it could just be that they hid some skills that I earned and I just didn't look at it or something like that. And it just that's one of my quirks with the game. And I'm not saying it's like a complete downside, but like when I look at the list, I don't know, maybe it is a downside for me personally. Because like I get, and I go back to the Sony formula and stuff like that. But when we level up, right, and it's like new skill point, and I'm just like, oh crap, okay. So you have a skill tree for Peter Parker, you have a skill tree for Miles Morales, right? 2 characters, 2 skill trees makes total sense, right? Right?
Yeah.
Wrong. There's a 3rd skill tree, a shared Spider-Man skill tree, and I'm just like,
wait, what?
Are you
Do they both get those
fucking
abilities?
kidding me?
Yes.
Yes. So like, it's like, oh god.
Why would you not want to invest in that? Because that gives them both.
Because it gives them both. Because there are Peter
Well,
Parker
the whole
abilities
thing
that
is-
will only affect
I
Peter
actually
Parker.
didn't mind this at all. I thought that was fine.
No, it
I
makes
like
sense to me.
because like Spider-Man, Peter Parker is a different. He has different abilities and different like things that he can do and skills.
absolutely.
Whereas Miles is a completely different type of character. He's got the Venom powers with the electricity and all that stuff. And so you're going down those skill trees. But then because they're both Spider-Man, they both have shared skills that they both can use. And so it made sense to me. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Most of their specific skills are tied to their like special powers.
Yeah,
And,
I get it, but I personally just
that.
I don't like it because it's like, oh, cool. I just leveled up as Peter Parker, and then let me just give my skill point to Miles. Like it's currency. Like here you go, bud. Here's my skill point. Level up that Venom strike or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of clunky to me.
It's not a real RPG.
Well, right. That's the thing. It's like I don't know. Like Sony games tend to do this, and I'm just like, why? Because it's one thing when it's just one character and you're just progressing it. I get it, but like, so not only that, so now there's gadgets too. You can like level up your gadgets again and stuff like that. And I was just like, is more thinking than I want it to be. Like, I just want to be like, okay, cool. Like, I'm Spider-Man. I get all this stuff. I don't want to be thinking about like, okay, well, I have this many. What do they fucking call it? Parts? Is it just parts or is it something else?
Parts.
Tech parts.
Yeah, that's right.
Rare tech parts. Hero tokens. City token. Like, there's just bullshit currency. I'm like, what are we fucking doing here? Like, why are we doing this? And I just, I don't know. It's weird. It's not too obtuse, but like, it's just clunky in my opinion.
I'm not too worried about it because this is the type of game where you're gonna be able to max everything out.
No,
So
I understand that, but I'm just saying,
choice.
like, when you're just artificially locking these things behind a bullshit currency thing, it's just like, all right, but why?
It's slow. Yes, to slow it down.
Progression.
It's to slow it down.
To give you the feeling of earning stuff while you're doing stuff.
Well, I mean, it's more to pace the whole game. I mean, I think like if you had those abilities just unlocked, you finish the game.
Well, it ties into my other criticism, which is the side quests are still kind of bad.
I heard that.
I mean, they're basically the same.
Yeah,
like interesting to me because I guess I'm slightly farther than you guys. I'm at the end of that Coney Island mission, and you guys are at the beginning or in it.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit like, this is just more of the same, up until the mission that preceded that, where you were Miles and you go to an interesting place and something. I can't say much more, but if you know what I mean, there's just the mission right before Coney Island with Miles. For me, that kind of turned the game a little bit for me because it's like, at first I forgot. I'm like, oh yeah,
but that's a main story mission.
Yeah, I know.
I'm talking about
side missions. I know they're not good. Although,
why are you interrupting me then? I'm talking about the side missions.
I'm just talking because you're talking about things that are the same as last game, and I felt like
I wanted to talk about it. Jim wanted to ask a question. You're like, well, actually, the main story is pretty good, Tony. What the fuck? I didn't say anything about the main story.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying that I got to a point because I felt the same way. I mean, what else could you say about it? It's the same type of side quest.
It's a serious critique. My biggest critique of the first game were the side missions. I felt like they were way too repetitive and way too much. Like it just was like bulk. I'm like mundane to get through it all to get the platinum. I'm like, it was not fun. That's what dragged that game down. And
some are better than others, I would say.
Some was like that in the game.
Some are better than others, but like,
too many really.
The first time I did a police or a vehicle chase, I groaned. I was like, "Oh God, please let it be different. Please let it be different." Spoiler: It wasn't different. I was just like, but at least not every district has it, so that's a good thing, right? Okay. Because I think by the end of the first game, you're doing like 15 to 20 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yep.
But and I've only done probably like 10 or so, but I haven't seen much variety. It's either like thugs are stealing from a place, or like cultists are setting something on fire. But like it's just the same thing. It's like instead of having guns, they have a flamethrower or something. I'm like, it's just I don't know. I don't know what you could do about that.
There's occasional ones where it's like, oh, help this person find their grandfather.
Oh, see, I haven't had one of those. One of the
I did that one. Yeah.
Get a cat out of the tree.
Yeah. Well, there was one interesting one where what happened? Like, I had a quest to go like warn some people about setting off fireworks from a building.
Dudes,
roof.
He blew them, and then you take them to the hospital.
Yeah.
We're talking about two different things though, because there's the actual little side quests, and then there's sort of the radiant city crime activities. The city crime activities are boring. They're the same type of shit as before, very repetitive. But then the grandfather one is a specific small side quest that you mentioned, and some of these other things are sort of like parts of a longer quest. I think I feel like I'm still seeing new stuff come up because I haven't sought out side quests too much.
What about we'll
see if they're better by the end.
What about like photographs?
They're there again.
What about what?
You take same again. Photographs.
Photos are
like
there.
photos for Daily Bugle and stuff. Like you have to do all that. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was a cool aspect.
Some of the puzzles are really stupid. I would
change
say.
pace.
Some of the puzzles are. There was actually one interesting one that I did yesterday where I don't know, like part of the story has you joining up with like some science people, and you got to help him.
I didn't. I did not get that puzzle at first. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, and then I'm like, oh, okay, you got to match up the hash marks.
Um, and it's like, oh, this is actually a job for Peter Parker, not Spider-Man, and it like automatically transitions me to the park,
Sign.
and it's like some bicycle with like a battery installed or something like that, and Peter had to test it out. So I'm just like biking through this park, and I was just like, it's interesting. Like, I don't mind the change of pace. It's fun, but I'm just like, how much fun? And am I going to have to do this like a million times? So if it was just a one and done thing, I'm happy with it. If it's like, yeah, do this like 6 more times or 8 more times, I'm like, nah, man, I'm done.
Yeah. All right, that's why I felt like
Trevor to chime in saying is the web swinging fun or web wings fun? Yeah, I like. Yeah, the web wings are good. Like the thing is, like the best part about traversing the city is the mobility aspect, and that's just another option of mobility, and it does make you feel like you're going fast. And there are wind currents that you can find that'll help you go, but I do feel like they're pushing you early on to just use them as much as possible.
Yeah, and I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's a good new wrinkle, but you do feel like you're kind of Supermaning a bit more than Spider-Maning through a lot of it.
No, I
you even go through rings.
But that is it. That is it. The first time, like they're doing a tutorial, and I saw like you're guiding what do they call it? The drone, drone or whatever like that. Yeah,
the friend,
and like you have to pilot it through rings. I was like, no, like I'm getting flashbacks of Superman 64 right now. Why would they do this? Is this intentional? I was like, unfortunately, it controls better than that. But I was just like, why is it rings? Why? Like,
oh man,
but
that's awesome.
Yeah,
so, game looks incredible though, like graphically,
and then
it looks awesome.
Right, and then going back to the main story, what Mike was talking about, absolutely, I agree that like that part is where I'm like, holy shit, like okay, I'm in on this like story, like because like Corey was saying, like it feels good. Don't get me wrong, it feels great even, but like it did feel like more of the same. But this mission that I just did, I was like, wow, okay, that was really cool. Like, that was awesome, and I can't wait to see where the game goes after this.
For me, for sure. Because, yeah, I was like, yeah, this is, same. It's good. Then I'm like, all right, we have some other stuff going on here that a little more, although it makes you even hope for even more the way it was shown. But we'll see what happens. There's a lot that can go on. And I am a little surprised that the very detailed section of gameplay that were shown earlier, we are not there yet. We don't seem that close to it either.
No.
What should be the end sequence?
It's definitely building up. There's a lot of build up to a fall coming.
Yeah.
So
that's
interesting.
I'm excited to get into this. So I am.
No, like I said, coming from Miles Morales, it's really good. The progression.
Tony, you didn't do Miles, right?
No, I didn't do Miles. So
how is this? This is okay for you?
No, yeah, this is great. This is awesome.
Because I'm not gonna be able to. I'm not doing Miles first.
Yeah,
he explains what he's doing. Like, there's one major thing so far, at least, that factors in.
Yeah.
That is pretty obvious.
It's easy to pick up. Like, at least
I will say,
far.
I hope they do a little more with Miles going forward, because at the point in the story I'm at right now, I'm kind of like, I don't want to deal with Miles stuff.
They have like
Peter's story is more engaging so far.
They're talking about like a massive sequel to this. Like they really want to go big.
So the thing is, I don't know if it's a spoiler or anything like that. I guess I wouldn't call it a spoiler because it's an interview. But somebody from Insomniac already said like, "Oh, if the fans want, we'll make a Venom spin-off or something like that." And I'm just like, like okay, like.
Yeah.
I will say Craven has been pretty good, cool. I think Craven's a great villain so far. Like,
all right, he did something interesting, yeah. No, I actually heard another interview with the creative director on Spider-Man. He said like, this one is like our Civil War, so the next one would be
that's what I was hearing.
It could be pretty epic.
Yeah. Trying to hype it up. It's just supposed to.
They're building a Marvel Cinematic Universe in this Insomniac universe, I guess you could say, with Wolverine coming, because it's going to take place in the same world.
Universe,
I would assume.
That is, I'm very curious about how you're going to get around in the Wolverine game.
I hope it's not open world. I really don't.
Well, they said it's going to be more God of War style instead of Spider-Man style.
That's fine with me.
more on tracks.
Open little areas, I guess. Yeah, that would be good. Because, obviously, like, these games are big open world games with a lot of mobility, and coming from Sunset Overdrive, you still can kind of feel the Sunset Overdrive a little bit in these games.
Yeah.
So you just wonder what they would do in a more grounded game. But we'll get there when we get there. But right now,
we still got a lot of game left here in Spider-Man 2. Like, there's some stuff we haven't seen that we've seen in the trailers. So,
and just remember, this game was not this one, but Spider-Man was offered up to Microsoft originally. They passed on.
Yep, they passed. Spider-Man 2 has, and just to go numbers here, has sold more than 2.5 million copies in its first 25 hours. The fastest selling PlayStation Studios title in PlayStation history.
Yep. Awesome to see.
So, doing very well, and it's exciting, and I'm psyched to get it. Let's get a PS5. See, I'm buying a PS5 for this. It's just a matter of, am I pulling the trigger this weekend or next weekend? It's probably this weekend.
Why don't you just, at this point, why don't you just wait till a Slim comes out?
I don't know, because I want to play this game. That's what I keep saying. Like, that's what happened last weekend. I was going to grab my system. Actually, today even. I'm like, today I have to go, I knew I had to go to Kohl's by where GameStop is. I'm like, I could. And I'm like, but then there's a Slim model. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're so close to Black Friday. Might as well just wait.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not going to be a long game where you're not going to finish it before the discussion.
Yeah, and like, honestly, Spider-Man, what kind of spoilers am I going to get from Spider-Man anyways? I don't know. I guess you know the game a little bit, but I know the story.
Trailers, I think that a lot of the things in the trailers kind of give away a lot of what's going to happen.
Well, that's the point of a spoiler. Is it a spoiler until you know it's a spoiler? You know what I mean? Is it really a spoiler? That's the argument you always have.
I don't think people are going to be rushing out and spoiling
I've been okay. I've been fine on Twitter and stuff. I'm not getting blown apart with it. So
we talked about right before we got on the podcast, people are beating it on talking about oh, I got through the game, and this is Sunday, you're saying.
So, I mean, I saw the playtime. Yeah, I saw playtime's 10 to 15 hours, and then 25 for completionists.
Yeah, it was more so people just blitzing through a game. I'm like, do you not want to enjoy it?
There's some sections where I'm just walking around and looking at stuff oh yeah, I want to see what's going on and test this stuff out. I'm shooting virtual bees or whatever.
I watched someone post on Twitter a video of him standing next to two women talking.
Yes, I saw that too.
Yes,
that was incredible.
And it was incredible, the conversation about having a baby and caring for the baby and having this full conversation, and it's just unbelievable to have that mixed into this game.
Yeah, I will say
they did show a behind the scenes video of how they do the New York City chatter that they you just ambient noise and stuff, and so there's a crowd of people and they're just walking in a circle having conversations with each other and just talking different things, and then they'll have them go back and forth and left to right. It was pretty interesting to see.
Yeah,
there's definitely a lot more cars on the road, closer to real New York. Not quite
the density
densely packed as real New York, but it's way closer.
Yeah.
Cool. Is the size bigger, or is it just different area?
It's bigger.
There's Brooklyn and Queens now.
I saw Brooklyn. Okay, well, you're talking about Coney Island, so I was like, I knew that had to be. That was there, but I didn't know if they had just moved it and you just have the same size. That's all I didn't know.
You still have Manhattan as well, so it's a bit bigger, although not a whole lot different other than I guess the height of the buildings there.
Wait, was there Queens? Do we have Queens?
No, I mean,
why not? Spider-Man's Queens, man. I'm sorry. I'm just can you swing to Yankee Stadium?
No, that's the Bronx.
Oh, it's not in the I thought it was on the Brooklyn side. I'm sorry, you're right. It's Bronx. Yes, but no Queens either. I want to go to City Field. It'd be really cool to have that.
I saw a building with Avengers on it.
Queens is in this game. I said Brooklyn and Queens. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those are the new zones.
That's what that's.
Those are the new zones.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to City Field. He's a Mets fan.
No. We'll see. So. We'll see what happens.
I have not gone to City Field.
I really haven't explored the area that much. That's more in game, mopping everything up stuff for me. I'm just kind of going with the flow of the story and stopping if there's a side thing right in my face.
Yeah. That's how I like to play games. You know that. So that's why this game sounds right up my alley. So, okay. Yeah. So, what do we got here? We got a little bit of news.
I'm not done. News. I played Mario.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yes, Mario Wonder.
Yes.
Please hit me with that. What do we got?
90+ games on the same day.
Oh, I have that very often. Shit, I gotta go pick that up. I got that pre-ordered. I gotta go buy it. I gotta go pick it up.
Yeah.
I believe I forgot to go get it.
No, that game is fucking awesome. I've liked the new Super Mario Brothers series, ever since it debuted on the DS.
I always had fun. See, for me, that game, I like having it more of the multiplayer experience with that game. For me, that was the fun part.
Yeah.
But they're good. They're good. Yeah.
But this I feel like really is like a just zany, wacky evolution of like if Super Mario World continued, like Super Mario Brothers 4, like this would be 5 essentially, because like they just pull out so many crazy, like off the wall things. Because the whole thing is like every level, you know, left or right, you're trying to get to the end flagpole, whatever. But they put a wonder seed in every level, and as soon as you touch that, you have to do like there's a level gimmick, right? And so far the level gimmicks have been like it activates like a super enemy rush to like how do I want to say this without too there was a musical level like a musical I know to one where like Mario turned to like a slime and like I had to get through the level as a slime. It is just so weird. There was this one where he turned into a Goomba and you have to avoid getting eaten by these enemies because like you're a fucking Goomba. You're like the lowest of the totem pole in the Mario enemy universe. And you can't jump or anything like that, so you have to like platform and use timing and like hide behind boxes and stuff like that. But it's really fun, and we played it Friday multiplayer, full player. And that was fun. You can't troll each other as hard as like.
Oh, so that's always the fun part.
We like can't pick each other up and like throw each other off the cliffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it is still,
they made it more kid friendly.
Yeah, they made it a little bit more family friendly because like.
Yeah, family friendly. Yeah.
What happens is whoever got the best position on the flagpole at the end of the level is like dubbed the king or the leader or whatever like that. So the next level, the camera will pan around them. So like if I'm in first and I just want to troll the team, like I'll just blitz through the level. And if they can't keep up, like they're just, you know, they have that bubble ghost thing where like they have to like catch up to me now. Or if I want to explore, then tough shit. They have to, you know, explore with me and stuff like that. So that's kind of like incentivizes the competitive co-op, I guess, to say anything, you know, because like you always want to be the first to the flagpole because you want to get the highest position because that secures your, you know, crown slot and stuff like that. And then the other interesting thing is they introduced a badge system, kind of like Paper Mario almost, where like you can equip one badge and it does something different for you. And it could do something such as like an extra like wall kick or like you're constantly jumping, like you don't have to press the jump button anymore, like it'll just Mario auto jumps and stuff like that and like increases the jump. And I even got this one yesterday where it was like Mario throws out like one of those piranha vines and if it hits the wall he'll like shoot over to it and I'm just like how is this like am I playing Spider-Man again, like am I playing two Spider-Man games right now, like it was just really really crazy. So it opens up a lot of like options depth for like a Mario game, so that's been enjoyable so far. But yeah, it's really crazy that we got 290 plus games on a single day. Microsoft, what's going on, man? We could have had a trifecta, but
2 games I gotta play before the end of the year, just for Game of the Year. Game of the Year discussions.
It's funny though because fuck Sonic. I mean, honestly, no, Sonic dropped the ball. I mean, I'm gonna get both of these games eventually, but I'm not in a hurry to get either of them. But it's clear that the Mario game is better. It's clear. And it's funny though because the trailers undersold the Wonder Seeds.
I'd argue that the Mario games have always been better, but go on.
No, not always. No, not even close, really.
What?
But Sonic 2 and 3 are better than just go right and jump on shit game. I'm sorry, just jump on shit game.
Let's keep things moving along. We have a whole episode on this, so.
But no, now that I watched some reviews and video on Mario Wonderin', the Wonder Seed they showed in that like trailer, I guess they don't want to spoil anything, but that really undersold it. I'm like, that looks like it's just like, oh, dumb shit happens when the Wonder Seed happens. Like that was probably like the worst one they showed, I would guess, because when people start talking about what's actually happening most of the time,
they're not
the
gonna
real
show,
game
like,
changers.
They want to keep that. Yeah, they want to keep that stuff, close.
Yeah, I know, but apparently there's so much, and there's so much variation that.
So it's funny. It's like when somebody posts somebody posted like spoilers from Super Mario Wonder. I'm laughing because I'm like, what the fuck spoilers? But then you realize
No.
like it's really cool gameplay options that you don't really want to know. You want to be surprised a little bit from it. So you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna stop reading this stuff because I want to go on and find out what I get into. It kind of makes that wonder aspect a little bigger.
The thing is, you don't want to see the best parts. You want to discover
You
the
wanna
best
I
parts.
know, but they undersold it in my view. Still, they could have shown one more better one, but the Sonic game I've heard is okay. But
it looked
too
fine.
much of what is like an incentive for exploration is apparently for some poorly thought out multiplayer mode that's like half of what the game's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So that's not great. And also, some, despite their insistence that it feels exactly the same as a sprite game, some people say it doesn't feel quite right. I'll have to see it for myself, but
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
looked
Things,
okay.
I'll get them both later, so
Okay.
I compare them then. But I know that Ashley wants to play the Mario game, so that's more gonna happen. So
All
there's
right.
that.
All right. Game wise for me, nothing really to talk about. We did have Microsoft CEO in the news. Obviously, Microsoft in the news about not doing well.
They had their investor relations call.
They had the investor relations call, which apparently shows that they missed their growth targets by a lot for 23 so far, with 0.7% growth of Game Pass when the target was 4.4%. No longer tied to Nadella's pay, I guess.
Incentive compensation.
Yeah, which I guess is good for him. Is that because they're not doing well, or?
I mean, when you miss it 3 years in a row, like, why do you keep making it a target, right? They overshot on their. I think what it was, they really used the COVID years as an estimate. Like, oh, it's like that chart from The Simpsons with Disco, whatever his name is, where he's like, hey, Disco Stew, where it's like, hey, if Disco sales keep on going like this, and it's just like that curve upward, like infinite and stuff like that. I feel like they use that COVID growth period to be like, why wouldn't it continue to keep growing at such a large rate? Where it's like, and that's not how it works, man.
I mean, there's a lot banking on this for Game Pass for them. And that's why they just made their purchase to add more games to that. So, like, but to not hear the growth numbers, and I think a lot of it has to deal with the fact of just, it goes back to content. I also
think they kind of plateaued,
I think no, I don't think so.
Can always stop eventually.
I mean, you guys talked about Netflix on the movie cast, right? The growth.
Yeah.
You're not gonna play. You're gonna have peaks and valleys. You're going to, but overall, you should still be like upward trending. And I guess 0.7% still upward trending in the long run, but not where they want to be at a very conservative target. I feel like, and it's not a great incentive to, and I think it shows the holes in their catalog. Because if you were firing out Spider-Man on Game Pass, how many people are subscribed to that?
Sony's not doing that in their equivalent. That's not what
I'm not
do.
saying Sony. I'm saying if Microsoft was firing out Spider-Man, Final Fantasy VII, Wolverine, if that was coming out in Game Pass day one, are you subscribed to it every single day, like every single month?
I don't think so, because here's the thing: is like
I'm already subscribed to Game Pass. I don't know what that question is.
I think
I'm saying they don't have the content. I'm saying they don't have the games that make you subscribe, and that's why they're not getting.
I agree on that. I can agree with, because here's the thing: like, it's easy to consume a show or a movie, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you can binge watch, Witcher or Castlevania or Stranger Things or whatever. You can easily binge that in a weekend, right? Because you're talking about like what, 6 to 8 hours at most, most of the time.
There's no exertion either. You're just sitting there.
Right, you're just sitting there, right? You just sit there and watch. And it's a nice, couple activity or family activity or friend activity, right? A lot of people like, Mike, you had that like, the party for the Stranger Thing. But like for a video game, that's more personal, right? Because like you want to play it on your own pace at your own time and stuff like that. And, some of these games like Starfield, like that's a big game, right? I wouldn't expect somebody to binge that in a weekend
really.
or a month even. Like, that's a big game. Mm-hmm. So when somebody's like, and Phil Spencer has said that, where it's like, we want to be the Netflix of video games. I'm like, but why? Because like, first of all, if they had games coming out every single month, that'd be different. I'm not saying like game, because like they always get additions, but I'm saying their own personal content you cannot get anywhere else. That'd be a different story, maybe, but still, it's such a like random on and off like.
Well, it's not only that; it's also the accessibility of it. Like you have one game system in your house for like an Xbox. You're not gonna have two Xboxes in your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So like
sure.
again, you go back to Netflix. Even if they don't have password sharing anymore, obviously, you still have household where you can sit in your house. Everybody can be on Netflix
Right.
at the same time watching different shows.
Right.
That can't happen in your house with an Xbox, so it's tough to cover that.
Yeah.
Like it does add that. If you had
Xbox on a PC,
yeah, you can. I mean, there's other platforms, but again, you have to have a PC. Like, it's very easy to have multiple TVs in a house. It's not very
Everybody's
easy.
got
Yeah.
a phone or an iPad these days.
Yeah, and you can watch Netflix on that easily. You know, so the price of what was it, $20 a month? What did it go up to? 22? Ultimate's going up to what is it? Do they have a price raise recently? I forget what's going to be per month now. Whatever it is, $20 a month for Ultimate, whatever you want to call it, is an easier swallow when you have, you know, 4 devices in the house that can use it. Value wise, you know, I agree. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Netflix has a better idea because it's easier.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, it just shows Microsoft has too many gaps in their scheduling to be like, yeah, I want to subscribe to Game Pass, you know, year round, right? Like I actually talked to Nick the other day about this. He's like, yeah, I'm subscribed to Game Pass year round. I'm like, why? Like, why would you do that? Like I did that once when I got my Xbox One.
Oh no, it's like worth a. You got a deal though.
Right, I got a deal where I converted like 2 years for like, you know, $1, but I got, you know, 2 years for like, you know, $70 or something like that. So I got 2 years of Ultimate for $700. And even then I didn't find the value in it. I was like, I had this for 2 years. Like what are you talking about? Like I played a handful of games, but like I could have just bought those for the same price as, you know, I paid for the Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how deep you want to dive into the content. That's really it too. So
I still like it a lot. It's worth it for me. I mean, I'm gonna play the Like a Dragon Gaiden's coming out.
Yeah,
Day
absolutely.
One.
I mean, there's value there. Don't get me wrong.
There's obviously Starfield, and then when there's lulls with the big games, I just look through Game Pass, and that's where I play my Chinatown Detective Agencies, or you know, Firewatch, or stuff like that. Just so
right, but you're playing things you wouldn't be interested in just because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, well, that's what I want it there for. That's kind of how Netflix sells you stuff, you know? Like, oh, Netflix is like, oh, everyone, this is the new Netflix thing.
Yeah.
No, it's.
But Netflix is bringing you that stuff.
I have.
These games exist without Game Pass.
It's bringing it to me. I'm not going to just search, you know, randomly like stuff online.
You never go to like the Xbox store, the PlayStation store, and just look up new releases?
I don't need to because I subscribe to Game Pass and I say, oh,
because Game Pass tells me what's good.
To these already. It's a little curated. It's fine. And
yeah, I mean, I get that. You're.
I just think it's so weird that you're so anti-Netflix, but you're like Game Pass. Yeah, it's for me. It's weird.
It's very similar. I don't think are you anti-Netflix?
Yeah, you missed the episode.
Now I am. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed it. All right. Anyways, let's go into our Halloween conversations. So, game-wise, how did you guys do this on the movie cast? Did you guys go around?
We just talk about stuff.
Yeah, we're just saying, like, do we have any, like, traditions or games that we enjoy, or movies that we enjoy during this season?
Yeah. I mean, the games, the low-hanging fruit games, obviously we could kick off with. I mean, it's Resident Evil 2, especially with the remake now, the remake. That's a beautiful game to play during this season. I wasn't on the movie cast to give you guys
say
my
4 right now.
4, yes, but I've never played 4. You know, through the whole thing.
Yeah, it could be a perfect time to play 4.
It could be. It is. But it is. It is. And you know what's funny is, like, if you looked at my movie list, I didn't get to rattle that off you guys. It was a lot of zombie movies. So it was like, I looked back and I'm like,
talk about many zombie movies actually.
Yeah, we didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Oh
Yeah.
wow! I was here to fill it. I had zombie land and stuff like that. 28 Days Later. Those are great movies, but naturally my head goes to like games like Resident Evil with the zombie games. You know it, and even like was it Dead Rising? Dead Rising? Yeah, Dead Rising. Dead Rising 3.
Yeah, Capcom game. Yeah.
Dead Rising 3 was a game that I love that because that was the game that really. I mean, 1 and 2. Don't get me wrong. There's better games, but I did love some aspects of 3 where it was like nostalgia wise thinking about like, oh, I'd love to go back and play that thing right now just because it was like ridiculous over the top. But I understand your point with like the 1 and 2 with the other hero, But that for me was what I was thinking. But I don't know. Again, my mind goes to like zombie stuff. But like, what about you guys? Like, what's your? I know Tony. Do you still do the Fatal Frames?
No, I haven't done a Fatal Frame in a long time.
You used to do that a lot. I remember that, but there was a lot more out then.
Phasmophobia is
No,
the one, right?
Phasmophobia is the game that I play.
Yeah, Phasmophobia. Okay.
That game's amazing. And it's unfortunate because it was supposed to come out on consoles in August, then it got pushed to this month, and then it got pushed again.
I missed it.
Which could have been a really great time for the console gamers to play and stuff like that because, that is a perfect example of a game that is like, what do I want to say? It's way too niche for like any AAA studio to make a game like that. It's like, we're gonna hunt some fucking ghosts. It's like that just sounds weird, right? Well, I'm sorry, except for Nintendo because they made Luigi's Mansion. But Sony and Microsoft would never do that. But this is a perfect example of a game that would not exist outside of the indie space, and over the years they've reiterated on this game enough, and it's legitimately like really fun now, and has this amazing community of players where there's just so much content that you can do, and like it's endlessly playable because they have so many stages, they have so many ghosts, and they have modifiers for all the different difficulty options for it and stuff like that. Some people I watch that are like I don't know, full-time streamers, I guess, or content creators for it. They'll like play it on the hardest difficulty without a lot of survival tools, and like they try to beat it as fast, like the level as fast as they can, and you're just like, these people are insane. Like they'll hear the ghost and they'll be like, oh, it's this right now. I can tell by the pacing of the steps. You're like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, shake the screen. Like, how did you know that?
Wow.
But
yeah,
that's a fun game.
Yeah, Mike, what do you?
Well, I'm not really into horror games all that much.
Yeah, I'm the same here, but go on. Yeah.
I don't like. Well, I don't play the Resident Evils either. No thanks. But I did play this year actually, Alan Wake remastered.
Nice.
Now 2's coming in a few days. We'll see if I want to get that or not. But Alan Wake, like those more psychological games, are pretty interesting to me. I like that.
Well, you like?
Yeah, I mean, like,
what was it? Control, right?
Control. Yeah, another one.
Control. Yeah. Same Remedy group. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was also, horror adjacent, I would say, but it gets pretty weird.
I think you would love Silent Hill: The Room. I don't know if you ever played that older one.
That's funny, but you mentioned that because one of my main Halloween memories is at a sleepover as, I guess, a kind of a kid. We played that together, Silent Hill: The Room.
That was fun for me. Yeah, I played that. Yeah.
So as a group, I like horror as a group like that. Like that makes it more fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But dude, I remember like Corey. You guys remember like PT at the house? Like
I was also
PT,
yeah.
That was during what, like one of our
campouts. Yeah, one of our campouts. We would go up there and
we
play PT.
We went inside. Yep.
And
then that was.
I wish that
everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
Available because it will not start on my PlayStation anymore.
You can only do it on PS4.
Oh, well, there you go.
Like Sony blocked it on the PS5 for some reason. I don't understand it.
It's like ridiculous.
They went out of their way. They went out of their way to do this.
What other? I guess BioShock is kind of horror adjacent that I enjoyed.
BioShock, I would put it in. The first one. I don't know. I don't really know much about the second one myself too much, but
second one is more
definitely
the same, although
definitely not Infinite.
People.
I wouldn't put Infinite in there.
No,
that was more over the top. But that BioShock 1 would definitely be creepy, and that's a good time of the year to play it. So, Corey, what about you?
You have okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, Corey.
No, I was gonna say Silent Hill is like one of the ones that first pops up too. Me because like Pyramid Head is iconic, and those nurses are iconic. It's like those are.
Yeah, I have high hopes for that remake.
Yeah, and then like at the ending of PT, you're like, oh yes, and then you're like, oh, we got Death Stranding instead.
Dude, spoilers.
That was the real horror all along. You thought you were getting a horror game? It's Uber the game.
Yeah,
exactly. But no, I remember there was like on original Xbox, there's that game. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's just I remember it being super creepy.
Grabbed by the
and you were like, not that one.
Fear.
can't remember. I can't remember. It's from Sega.
House
House
of
of
the
the
Dead.
Not House
I
of
mean,
the
House of
Dead.
the Dead was fun, but
But then
not
you have
not,
like
House of the Dead
Outlast.
creepy fun.
in the
Outlast
in
is
the
fun.
arcades. It scared me as a kid.
House of the Dead.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
As a kid, I get it.
see
As a
that.
kid.
Yeah. But no,
Um,
it's I would even throw out 999 as a game that you might
Oh, yeah.
like
It's
have
fun.
fun with.
Yeah,
Thriller.
Corey, you
It's a
should
thriller.
play that and beat it.
I have all three of them, like multiple
advice.
versions of them now.
Tony's got good advice there.
Hmm
That's one of the
I even
most
have
fantastic games to play.
the Vita
Watch?
one right here.
Oh, the Vita one,
Actually.
nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
still
have
got
the
the.
watch.
I
Here's
have a.
Hold it
I think
out.
I
Wow.
think I actually sold the watch finally.
I have the watch right here.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I think I sold my watch away last year.
That's fine. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was it was still sealed up. I got pretty good. I think I got 100 bucks.
keep things for as long as they make you happy. No, they don't. You just
Exactly.
take them off and stuff like
It
that.
was just sitting. It was sitting under my desk, and I was like, you know what? This isn't even out
Yeah.
on display. So
Mhm.
this is when I do it. But yeah, I think Tony, Bloodborne.
Bloodborne, absolutely. I mean, Dark
Yeah.
Souls, like Bloodborne is my favorite aesthetic because it's like a Cthulhian horror.
Gothic. Yeah.
Gothic horror, like that slowly turns into Cthulhu. Because like you just fight people and you're just like, okay, you like fight a boss and then it just turns into a monster, right? You're just like, oh, like okay, like that's just awesome to me. And while I still love From Software, like that game, like aesthetics and setting has been the best. 10 out of 10. Like I wish they would port that game to PC. Like somebody's fucking around with all this other bullshit, God of War,
Remake
Horizon.
it, man. PS5
Just
remake. Or
fucking port
PC
it.
remake.
Just fucking port it.
Yeah.
Let people experience it on PC.
Then you'll see people want a Bloodborne too.
Yeah, I mean, you would think somebody'd be like, "Wow, Elden Ring sold like 20 something million copies. Why don't we have one of those?" And it's just like, we have one of those. Like, we had one of those, and you just didn't do shit with it.
We talked about Event Horizon, like sci-fi horror, and Dead Space is like the group.
Yeah, I mean, with the remake especially, I still have to play that, so that might be on
Yeah.
the docket. One of my friends has it, so I might borrow it from him. I wanted to get really quick, continue on my multiplayer horror, but Dead by Daylight. If you have not
I
played
was just
that,
about to ask you, like Dead by Daylight is probably one that you.
I haven't played it in a while, but like they have grown even so much more than the last time I played it. Like I think the last couple killers were the Xenomorph from Alien.
Yeah.
They got I think Ash is a character. They had Nicolas
they had a
Cage as
Demogorgon
himself.
at some point.
Yep.
I would. Yeah, I mean that's awesome to hear. I don't know. I gotta check that one out. There's so many like game side, and even just like Luigi's Mansion. Like I don't know why.
Yeah, that's more on the whimsical side, and that's cool.
Yeah,
Like it's you
can have that side. Like I had some family friendly Halloween stuff I was gonna talk about, but I was thinking game wise. I was thinking Luigi's Mansion. In fact, I was thinking maybe I should pick up It's Luigi's Mansion 3 that's out, right? If I just remember right.
Luigi's Mansion 3 is the newest one on Switch.
Yeah, Switch.
They're
that's the one that
porting,
came out, right?
and I think they ported 1.
Oh, did they port one?
And they're porting 2 next year. The whole trilogy will be available on Switch at some point, but I think
so.
2 of them.
Dead by Daylight's fun with friends.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like the thing about Dead by Daylight is like it's almost like the Smash Brothers of horror games now. I'd say like horror genres, because like when they invent the killers, and there's so many. Like you have like Nemesis from Resident Evil, you have Jason, you have Freddy, or not Jason, Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
I'm sorry, I get the.
Jason got his own game.
Yeah,
I know,
just
but I
has
was
his own
thinking
game.
too. Like when I just rattle it off, I'm not thinking I do the same
Yeah,
thing.
but it's so cool because like these killers actually play like they're supposed to, right? So like as Michael Myers, because the whole game is about like chasing survivors to make sure that they don't like kick the generators and can like leave out of the gate or something like that. So most of the killers like you want to chase, you want the mobility and stuff like that. Well, Michael Myers is all about stalking you. So like he wants to like just peek around the corner, and the more you look at a survivor, like they actually hear the music that like the da da like the piano things, and it gets creepy because like you don't want Michael to get to like his level, like he'll level up because he just like is stalking that character for so long. Like he levels up, and then once he gets to the 3rd tier, he can just auto down somebody, which is huge in that game because like the thing is like it's 1 hit to damage and then another hit when you're damaged to down somebody. So skipping that and just downing somebody right away is huge because most players play with the incentive like, I could get hit once, so and you get a burst of speed, so I can get away and stuff like that. But all the killers just play like you'd expect them to. So it's just really cool. Like when they come out, even if you're not, because people can be like a survivor main where it's like, oh, I just want to play the survivors, or some people are killer mains where it's like, I just want to go in and I want to kill people and stuff like that. But it's just really fun, and it's cheap and available on all the systems and platforms.
Cool.
So
yeah.
You played Alien Isolation, right? Tony?
Yes, I wanted to bring that up because that is another fucking game that got my heart. Like, I love Resident Evil, I love Silent Hills, and those games do creep me out. Don't get me wrong, like it's like, depending on what's going on, but like Alien Isolation definitely made me like, I'm scared, right? Because I was playing on the hardest difficulty, and on the hardest difficulty, the xenomorph actually learns, right? Like if you're hiding underneath tables, like the AI, I guess, will make the xenomorph start checking
because it'll hear your breathing.
Yeah, and if you stay in an area too long, I guess it knows what your pheromones smell like or something like that, and it'll find you and shit like that. And I remember just hiding in this like locker, and I'm like, please go away, please go away, please go away. And I thought it went away, and it was just waiting right there. Like I exited the locker, and it was just waiting. I was like, you motherfucker, like you just killed me.
Wow. Mike, what about your another one you had?
I have a few still more sort of alternatives. Mortal Kombat to me is like a good sort of Halloween game, especially if you do X where you have
There's a crypt.
all of those. No, the crypt, but you have Freddy and Jason and those characters actually in that game.
That's right.
But otherwise, Arkham Asylum and even Arkham Knight, those are Halloween-y horror adjacent games. Arkham Knight takes place on Halloween.
Yeah.
Asylum has a fair amount of somewhat creepy horror-y aspects. So those are some good alternative ones too.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Corey, do you have any more you want to?
Not too much now.
You know what's funny is like the Doom games have been more actiony recently. But like Doom 3, I remember playing. It was like fucking like bloody, and it was like startling. They really went to like the horror aspect of that game. It still obviously has Doom at the end of it, but yeah, I mean Doom 3 was pretty like that was a pretty scary one for a Doom game. I remember that. I was not expecting that.
I remember as a kid being afraid of green carpet after Doom because there's the green shit that kills you in Doom.
Yeah. So, I don't know, Tony, do you have another one or?
I would say like the Metroid games or like
I mean, yeah, the Metroid games can be. That's true.
Like Dread, especially because you had to escape those like I mean, Jim, you said you fucking hated those sections, right? Like,
oh god, yeah, those that's right. Oh man, you're bringing back flashbacks.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I hated that shit. Oh
yeah, they hunted you down. It was like, oh shit, like that's like some Terminator ass stuff.
It was a lot. There was a lot of startling in that, and there was a lot. Yeah, there was definitely the Terminator aspects of it. So that has the little jump, not really jump scares, but it was like, oh shit, go 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 go. You know, it was like you have that vibe. So that's cool. Yeah, all right. I think is that everything? We're good. Wrap it up. Put a bow on it. All right, that's gonna wrap up this episode, folks, of the Gamecast. Thanks for tuning in. I think we are going to podcast. We are podcasting on Halloween, so look for episodes. We'll be live on Tuesday night next week. It might be 15 minutes late, 30 minutes late, maybe depending on trick or treating. But I expect myself to be back with plenty of time. So we'll see. We'll be good, and we'll see you guys next week. And then we're also on YouTube. Don't forget, subscribe. That way you know when we go live or when we post. We'll see you guys soon. We are out.